Hello everyone, and welcome to the Week 2 edition of the Wilkes Journal-Patriot's High School Football Rundown presented by Cooks and produced by River Street Productions. I'm Sports Editor Zach Colburn, and Assistant Sports Editor Brandon Moree will be joining momentarily to take a closer look at this week's games. Week 2 was a strong week for Wilkes County as the teams went 3-1 with only East Wilkes coming up short on Friday night. This week, the game of the week took place in Millers Creek as the Blackhawks picked up their first shutout win since 2012. Brandon, what do you have for us?
The Blackhawks picked up their first win of the season with a 30-0 shutout of Pine Lake Prep in their home opener. It was their first shutout since 2012, as Zach mentioned. That was 42 games ago when they blanked Ashe County in West Jefferson. Blackhawks also had a lot of success running the ball on Friday night as 4 different backs, including quarterback Trenton Walsh, who you're going to see make a nice run here, scored touchdowns on the ground. After Walsh's run here set the Blackhawks up inside the 2-yard line, Noah Dancy punched in his touchdown on a 1-yard run. Cody Call also scored a touchdown for the Blackhawks later in the game, as did Tyler Skeen as he broke one from 21 yards in the fourth quarter. Pine Lake Prep nearly found the end zone late in the game, but the Blackhawks came up with a big interception, which we're going to take a look at a little bit later, to seal that shutout. I caught up with head coach David Hunt after the game, so let's have a listen.
Last year, this is a game where you guys lose by 2 or 3 touchdowns, but he pointed out that you guys just manned them over on the line. What did you see tonight?
Well, that's the biggest difference from last year to this year. Last year, they had the same running backs. We had similar running backs, but last year they dominated us up front on offensive and defensive line. Tonight, I think we really stepped it up and took it to them. I mean, our guys on the offensive line, defensive line, they're really a big difference tonight.
All right, for the game, Noah Dancy had 91 yards on 15 carries and a touchdown. Trenton Walsh went 1 for 4 for 47 yards in addition to running for 28 on 10 carries. Cody Call finished the night with 63 yards and a touchdown, and Tanner Clifton picked off that pass in the end zone and had 86 combined return yards in the game. Zach, back to you.
Thanks, Brandon. North Wilkes also picked up a win in Week 2, and it was the first win for the Vikings since Week 2 of last season. Jarrett Grimes led the Vikings as he ran for a career-high 289 yards and 3 touchdowns on 40 carries. Quarterback Daniel Pruitt was responsible for North Wilkes' other 2 scores, including the first touchdown of the game. Pruitt scampered in from 10 yards out midway through the first quarter and then found Gavin Huffman for a 28-yard touchdown pass later in the first. South Stokes pulled to within 2 points after Austin Lilly found Jonah Moorfield for a 6-yard touchdown pass late in the third quarter, but Grimes pulled the Vikings away with 2 touchdowns less than a minute apart. Meanwhile, in Ronda, East Wilkes lost its first regular season game since the 2014 season as they fell 21-20 to Surrey Central. The Cardinals and the Golden Eagles were tied at halftime and after 3 quarters at 14, but Devin Couch, who ran for 53 yards in the game, scored on an 8-yard pass from Bryce Vestal to break that tie. However, the Cardinals' point-after attempt was blocked, leaving the score 20-14. With just 2 minutes left in the game, Surrey Central's Eric Ramirez scored on a 16-yard run, and Martin Palacios converted the extra point to push the Eagles ahead for good. For the game, Austin Jolly ran for 112 yards and a touchdown on 6 carries, and Javian Ross added 76 yards, while Bryce Vestal ran for 73, in addition to throwing for 61. Surrey Central wasn't the only Eagles squad to pick up a win on Friday night, as Wilkes Central did as well. Brandon's got some more highlights for us over at the big board.
Wilkes Central improved to 2-0 on the young season with a 36-20 win in Statesville against West Iredale. The defense had some big plays, but Justin Parsons, who you see hit the truck stick right there, had a monster game for the Eagles. He ended up running for 175 yards on 16 carries to get 3 touchdowns, and he also picked up 92 yards on 2 catches. The run you see right there was an 80-yard run. He broke in the fourth quarter, and on the Eagles' next play from scrimmage, he scored this 35-yard touchdown run. Jack Privett's extra point put the Eagles up by the final margin, 36-20. For the game, quarterback Camden Wyatt went 8 for 19 for 153 yards and a pair of touchdowns, in addition to running for 25 on 9 carries. Wide receiver Josiah Ferguson had 4 catches for 44 yards, and wide receiver John Durham had a 19-yard touchdown catch in the first quarter. Zach, back to you.
Next week, the Blackhawks and Cardinals will have the week off, but the Vikings will be at Forbush, and Wilkes Central will travel to Surrey Central. Before we go, we want to send you off with the Play of the Week presented by River Street Productions. This week's Play of the Week preserved the shutout in Millers Creek. Brandon, what do you got?
All right, we hinted at it earlier. Here's that interception from Tanner Clifton in the end zone. JoJo Castronovo, the quarterback for the Pride, tries to fire one in there. Clifton gets a hand on it. Then John Hamby, number 9, you saw him get a hand on it before Clifton turns around and scoops it up. He would run out 35 yards to give the ball back to his Blackhawks. Zach, send us home.
All right, this has been the Week 2 edition of the Wilkes Journal-Patriot's High School Football Rundown presented by Cooks. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WJP_sports, and we'll see you on Friday night.